What's happening, everyone? We're back today with another video on the white ST. Today we're going to be tucking the wiring loom that sits on the inner wing. Reason being, it's messy, I don't like it, and it allows us then to possibly mount some things on the inner wing in the future to create a much more tidier engine bay. So let's get to it. As you can see here, this is the wiring loom that we're talking about. So this mainly is just for your headlights, or your near side headlight I should say, your horn, fog light I think as well. So what I'm going to do is just obviously get the headlight out, potentially remove the scuttle panel if need be, just to get a bit more room when filming, and hopefully we'll be able to route it through without actually having to chop it, because it looks long enough for what we need to do. Okay, so I don't know if you could see, but if I film just through the like scuttle panel, you can see there is a hole there with part of a wiring loom and a brake line going through it, which hopefully will be big enough to pass this wiring loom through. So what I'm going to quickly do is just get the car jacked up, wheel off, get the headlight out and stuff like that, just so we can see where this wiring loom exactly goes. Obviously with the wheel off and stuff like that, we can actually route it through with little hassle. So we'll just quickly do that off camera and show you the important stuff. Okay, so the wheel's now off. We're just going to get this liner out of the way. There are normally a couple screws at the front here, but mine are Bluetooth, so I've literally just got these ones holding it in, so we'll just quickly get them out. Okay, so now the liner's off, it will now reveal this hole here. So we will now start getting the rest of that wiring loom out of the way. So we'll just quickly switch to the GoPro because it'll just be easier to film and show you where and whereabouts everything is. Okay, so first plug that you want to get off is this ambient temperature sensor one. My one's not really routed as the OEM standard, so I was able to get my small hands between the bumper and actually unplug it. If your one's not been off before, then obviously you'll have to pull the front bumper off, which is only 3 screws either side. It's nothing crazy, but yeah, so that's off. Obviously you've got your wire into your horn, which we can just remove the live, and then you've got obviously your fog light, which I'll just twist and remove and then unplug off. Okay, so that's now unplugged, and then we will need to find out where obviously this ambient temp sensor loom is clipped into elsewhere. I'm hoping I can get to it with the bumper on, and that will be your last plug to pull through, and then the rest of it is literally just a case of unclicking it from the inner wing here, and obviously here as well, and across on these little studs here as well, and then we'll be able to pass it through that hole in the inner wing. Okay, so as you can see, there is a little clip here that if we do give a little bit of a wiggle, that releases our ambient temperature sensor wiring. So now what I'll do is I will remove that and then take off this little 8mm for the earth here and pull all this wiring through. Okay, so we took all the conduit off the wire and we're going to probably look at routing it nice and neatly up here on the inner wing, but giving enough space for it to curve around and obviously not rub against the body. And then we're going to route it over the actual bumper bracket that links to the inner wing. Gives us enough room for the headlight to obviously still plug in and be able to take it out as we just tested it, and pretty much everything else will line up as it should. So what I'm going to quickly do, all this tape and conduit and rubbish, I'm just going to speed through, take it all off, retape it with some nice sort of cloth style Loom tape like that, as it's a much better quality, and hopefully I will just show you a nice finished little result. Okay, so as you can see now, Loom is all taped everywhere, all the way up into the actual inner wing itself. So now we're just gonna secure it up into the inner wing here with some P-clips. Should look quite nice when done, so we'll just quickly draw a couple holes and get it where we need to be.
Little bolt for the earth, and I'll bolt that on.
So what we did is we obviously the old earth, as you can see, bolted through here. We just got to trim the bolt down, and we just bolted it to the nut on the back that was originally the other way sort of thing, so it keeps its original earthing point. And just a little close up, because you saw Luke doing the P-clips, which you can see look really nice, and obviously the loom just runs along the inner wing like that, nice and tight, not moving, which is what we want. And obviously our headlight plug comes to where it needs to go. Our fog light plug plugs in with a nice amount of slack, and all I've got to do is just route the ambient temperature sensor back through to the sensor behind here. So what we'll do is we'll just get that cut flush, I'll put the sensor back on, and then hopefully we'll show you the finished result with all the headlight back in. Okay, so as you can see now, we've cable tied the rest of the loom up, a bit more tidier, and I've managed to obviously route my ambient air temperature sensor, which is just there, and click it back into the crash bar. Probably a bit easier if you want to do it like that rather than doing it the way I did it originally. It's just that the plug was actually above the crash bar, so yeah, if you do find that you haven't got an aircon condenser in your way, then you can just get under it like I have. Now we're just gonna put the headlight on, get that arch liner back in, wheel back on, and hopefully just show the finished result. We've also trimmed the bolt down as well so it doesn't protrude out of the inner wing. So we'll just quickly box this back up. You don't really need to see it going back together, and we will show you it all said and done. Okay, so we've got everything back together. As you can see now, no wiring loom, all nice and tucked away. I think it looks really nice now. Just need to do a bit more tidying by getting rid of these because they're no longer needed, but that's for the future to come. But anyways guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you in the next one.